Okay, we're looking at algebra here and just some basic simplifying, expanding brackets and stuff. So here we go. Right, 3 times p times 4 times p. Now, 3 times 4, you can put them in a different order because when you basically, all right, 4 times 5 is the same as 5 times 4. So when you're multiplying stuff, doesn't matter what order you do them in. So I would do 3 times 4 times p times p. Oops, silly me. All right, times p times p. So that's what I would do. Now 3 times 4 is nice and easy. It's 12. P times p is p squared. Alright, so there you go. Alright, so don't be afraid to change the order when you're multiplying. Alright, but notice that they're all multiplied. There's no additions or subtractions or anything like that in there. Okay, the second one. I'm doing a different colour. I'm doing, what should we say? We'll say yellow. Here we go. Right, so simplify 3y minus 2y. So 3y minus 2y are the same, okay, but don't be fooled into thinking that plus 5y squared can be simplified with that, okay, because it can't. It's y squared. If you said that y squared was the same as y, you'd be saying that 5 is the same as 5 squared, all right, which is not. 5 squared is 25 and 25 is different from 5. Okay, so 3y minus 2y leaves me with a y plus 5y squared. So that will not simplify any more than that. Alright, so just be a little bit careful there. Now I actually could factorise that a bit later on, but you'll see, and we'll come back to that I think later. Now then, go to blue this time. Now then, expand and simplify. So expand and simplify means multiply out. Now you've got to be quite careful here. Now what I'm going to do down here is I'm actually going to, I mean, if you're not very confident at this, it is worth doing it like this. So 5 times x is 5x, 5 times 2 is 10. Now you've seen these multiplication grids before. So minus 3 times x minus 4. Now this is where people make mistakes. Minus 3 times x is minus 3x. Minus 3 times minus 4 is plus 12. Okay, so be careful because you are multiplying this bracket by minus 3. Okay, not just 3. You can do it where you do minus and then 3 times the whole bracket, but I think that can get a bit confusing. So there we go. Now I'm just going to write out what is under here. I'm going to write out this bit and this bit. Okay, just down here, where are we? So we get 5x plus 10 minus 3x plus 12, and then I can simplify. Now I'm going to use the colours that I used on the last question. Oops. So the x's, the x parts I can simplify, and I'll do a squiggle because you're not allowed colours in tests, are you? So there we go. So the ones with the yellow sort of straight line underneath I can simplify. So 5x minus 3x leaves me with 2x's, alright, plus 10 plus 12, okay, gives me 2x plus 22. Okay, and so there you go. Now to factorise fully, and the part of the reason I showed the table down here, okay, the tables here, was because I'm going to actually use the tables to factorise this. Alright, so in here, because factorising is just doing the opposite of expanding brackets. There we go. Now I know this is a multiplication table, so I'm going to look for something or some things that divide each of the pieces here. So what number goes into 12 and into minus 8? Well, I can say 4 goes into both of those, alright, and 4 times 3 makes 12, and 4 times 2, or minus 2, makes minus 8, doesn't it? Now then, does n go into both? And I'll change colour again. Now n appears in both, so if I've taken n out, n times what makes n? N times 1, so it's 3 times 1, well, there's no point putting that. N times what makes n squared, and gives me an n, because n times n makes n squared. We know that from up here, don't we? So my final answer would be, okay, 4n brackets 3 minus 2, oops, why am I putting 3n? 3 minus 2n, okay, 2n, there you go. Alright, so just take a little bit of care. These little tables I think are quite useful because they're like the multiplication tables you probably used before.